In order to overcome lust, we have to learn to start observing people and not imagining them. Because a lot of people fall in love with what they think. In order to overcome lust, we have to learn to. In order to overcome lust, we have to learn to start observing people and not imagining them. Because a lot of the times we think that truth is what we see when really it's beyond what we see, it's what is. And the problem with people is that they pay attention to appearances and think that automatically means that it'll be comforting. It's like a man, let's say he's flying in a plane and he sees a cloud, and the cloud looks all very comfortable and looks like a pillow or a bed that he can sleep on, but then he goes to lie down on the cloud and then he falls to the sky and dies. And that's the same thing when you lust after somebody because of their looks, in the sense that you're not paying attention to what truly the content of the cloud is. It's in a sense that when you touch the cloud, it goes through it. Your hand goes through it in a sense that, and when you find out the true nature of what you think is beautiful, you find out that it wasn't actually beautiful inside. It's the same thing. And it's beautiful that when we start to care less and less about appealing to the world, right? A lot of times to feel like a big man or to feel like a big woman, we want a husband who has this amount of money or looks like this, or we want a wife that looks like this or does that. But in a sense, we have ideals of what we think people should be, and we have expectations of what we think people should be, and then we don't see people as they are. For example, you might be in a relationship, right? And you might think, okay, in order to be in a relationship, I have to put up with this and that. Or in order to be in a relationship, I have to do this and that. But then you find out that the relationship wasn't really worth all the conditions and all the things that you were doing to be in it. You had all these expectations of how relationships were supposed to be, and it makes you miss out on what you can actually have. Because you find a lot of people, when they're rigid in their ideas of what reality should be, you find they have no flexibility and they have no ability to let go. In a sense, let's say you have this societal expectation that, oh, your relationship is supposed to go like this, I'm supposed to have this marriage, then maybe your best life is to live alone and die alone. Maybe that will be your happiest path. But because you have some scar, this mind habit implanted by society that pressures you to get married or pressures you to date, then you'll dive into a relationship and not paying attention to the true contents of the person inside. Because you start paying attention to the beauty and you get distracted into learning. But actually, the more beautiful somebody is, the more we have to pay attention to their inside. There was a sage who, he was very beautiful, but his whole life he suffered because people were always paying attention to what he looked like and not who he truly was inside. You see a lot of people, they're like, oh, I wish I was born beautiful, or I wish I had this beautiful wife. But what about somebody who's beautiful inside? And what about being beautiful inside? You see, that sage was so imprisoned because he had such a beautiful body, but there were people who were jealous of him. Even women would be jealous of him because they were like, oh, this guy's even more beautiful than me. I don't even want to look at him. So you would think, or I don't even want to be around him. And then other men, they'd be like, oh, this guy gets so much woman. He's so beautiful. He must get so many women. And so he had no friends. He had no nothing. He was too beautiful in a sense of physically. So it's like we think we want to look good, or we think we want somebody who looks good, but then you find the end result is not what you think it should be. Nothing in this world makes sense. It's beyond logic. The universe, the divine mother, is pure chaos in a sense that she is orderly chaos. In a sense that no matter what she does, it just makes sense because it is. It doesn't make sense because of a logical reasoning. It just is. So when you try to think in logic, a lot of times there's this Friedrich Nietzsche, this philosopher. He made a great point about how if a butterfly is killed, people cry, but if a cockroach is murdered, nobody cares. In a sense, because it looks. So a lot of people associate good with looks, and that's the mistake that we make. It is in a sense that we don't look at who somebody truly is inside. We have our ideas of what good is, and we start imagining, and then we get distracted. That's how people get love bombed, right? For example, if somebody's good to them for the first 3 months, they don't expect that to be consistent. In the sense that they start imagining the person. They start, okay, this person has been good to me for 3 months, so that means that they're a good person and that they're going to be good to me forever. No, you have to constantly be watching people. You can't just, you have this attachment of, I've had this habitual friendship with somebody, so they're always going to do right by me. You see, I always say you don't need to trust people when you observe them. Because why do I need to trust you? I can just see what you are. I don't need to trust you. You're here. There's no trust needed. I can just see what you're doing. I can see what you are, and I can see what the end result's going to be based on how you're acting. I don't need to, oh, I've been friends with you for 5 years, or you're my family, you've been my wife for 5 years, this and that. No, what are you doing now? How are you helping me now? How are you being a true friend to me now? Not, oh, you did this for me 5 minutes ago, you did this for me 10 minutes ago. What about now? Because when we're thinking about, okay, this person was like this in the past, or this person's going to be like this in the future, we miss out on what they're going to be in the now. And this is how people give us false promises and trap us in relationships. In a sense that they give us an ideal of themselves and we don't see the reality of what they are. And we're always chasing an ideal of somebody. And a lot of people, they get hypnotized by ideals. Like, I'll tell you this story. There was this guru, and it's such a beautiful story. And this woman, her husband was the guru's student. And she had said to the guru, he was very unorthodox in a sense that he wasn't one of those gurus who tried to, be this perfect, peaceful, appearing peaceful. He was just peaceful. He wasn't appearing peaceful. He was just peaceful. So let's say somebody was like, messing around. He would just be like, he would just curse people out. He just to try to wake them up and get them out of their slumber. But, to the ignorant mind, it's like, oh, he's just a mean person. He's a fake guru. Look at him getting angry and stuff like that. But the person doesn't realize is that the guru's not even angry. He's just being himself. But a lot of people, they project who they are onto somebody else, right? Let's say somebody's not appearing as peaceful as what they deem as peaceful, then they'll judge that person as like an angry person or a bad person, not knowing people who actually show flaws are actually the most trustworthy people. Because they don't care about like you liking them, so they'll just be themselves. Like, they don't care about you they don't care about having you around. They just are as they are. So I'll finish the story in a sense that this woman was like, oh, you should be the guru. My husband is so nice and he's so soft spoken and stuff like that. And the guru was like, okay, take you don't want me to be your guru? Take your husband as your guru. But the woman, she was only in a relationship with this man for 3 months, 4 months, so she didn't know who he truly was. So then, after a while, he had started hitting her and lying to her. But then he would still be the smiling face in public. And then the guru, the true sage, he wasn't always smiling, he wasn't always giggly and stuff like that. He would always talk about how, he can't stand samsara, I'm done with this. And the husband would be like, hey, I love this world and stuff like that. But the husband looks like, oh, he's all accepting, all loving. But actually, he was attached to life. While the sage, even though he's disgusted with life, he's still detached from it. And that's the true essence of truth, is detachment. So when people, they see that guru who's like disgusted with life, they're like, oh, this guy's a miserable human being and stuff like that. Actually, he's very happy inside. He's very free from this world. But then the wife, then after her fake husband guru started abusing her, she told the guru, and the guru just shrugged his shoulders. But he said to her, I thought he was the nice guy, and she said, I realized he appeared as a nice guy. He wasn't a truly nice guy. So this is the problem with getting caught up in appearances, is that we don't see what is, and we don't love people as they truly are. Because I'm telling you, those people who, like, they're in abusive relationships, they blame the other person. They're like, oh, this person tricked me. This person, I'm so tired of this person. I thought this person loved me. There's always signs of a person. I'm telling you, nobody's that intelligent where they can hide who they are forever. And it's the most beautiful people who are people who don't hide their flaws. There's no flaws to leak out. They're not even flaws. They don't even see them as flaws. They're just expressing themselves. And you'll find people who they'll try to shame you for being your authentic being and expression, and then they'll reject you for being authentic, and then they'll love the fakes. And I'm telling you, don't be one of those people, because that's how you get finessed. Look how that woman, she ended up in an abusive relationship because she was paying attention to how somebody appeared as and not how they are. And it's like that guru, he would help homeless people, he would do all this and that for these people, but because her husband was nice and soft-spoken, she deemed him as the good one, and then she found out the hard way. So don't find out the hard way. Observe and don't imagine, because that woman, she was so egotistical that, she wanted her husband to be the guru so bad that she was willing to lie to herself about his true nature, and she missed out on the good the guru was doing. It's like she didn't notice that when he would yell at people, instead of being caught up in their ego, they would actually start to listen and be awake, in the sense that if he was just talking like, oh yeah, so, detachment is the essence of reality and blah blah blah. People they lose, like, they're like, they don't listen. But when the guru's like yelling like, listen, you fool, like, you're getting all attached to samsara, and I'm telling you to be devoted, and you're not listening, you idiot. What's wrong with you? And the person starts to reflect like, damn, I mean, why aren't I devoted to the truth? Why aren't I devoted to the sages? Like they're the only teachers who free me from this world. All the psychologists, they tell you you have this type of illness. They tell you, they put this limited diagnosis on you. But the guru says you are beyond words. So, and that's what the wife wasn't paying attention to, what he was truly doing. So I'm telling you, you're going to miss out on a lot of good in life if you're caught up on how things look and not as they are. So learn to just see life as it is and not what you think it should be. Because I'm telling you, so much more beauty will open up. You'll accept people more. You'll have a clearer view of reality. And it's like, practicing meditation, and I have practiced on my Patreon to get rid of that imaginative mind, and you start to use the imagination, and the imagination stops using you. That's what the point we want to get to, is how we fully unlock our creative power, is where the imagination doesn't use us and we use our minds. And it's beautiful, because we are in essence God. We are from God, and we are from the source of God, and we are God's children. So we might not be completely all powerful, but we do have the power of God to create, and God is creating through us. So we have to be humble and surrender and have devotion to the guru, and learn and practice. Because a lot of people, they watch a video on overcoming lust, and then they don't practice. They don't actually devote themselves to overcoming lust. They go and jack off, or I'm not saying, and I know some idiot is gonna like comment and be like, well, and just parroting some spiritual shit that they heard, and not even listening fully to what I'm saying, and be like, oh, well, you can't completely reject life. That's so annoying. I can't stand when people, and they don't listen to the full video, and they try to come in the comments correcting me. It's hilarious. And then in the end, they apologize to me when they could have just listened to the full video, and there would have been no apology needed if you just listen. But it's like, I'm not saying you have to reject life. I know some fool is gonna come and say that, and try to sound like a smartass. I'm not saying you can't have sex. I'm saying stop having sex with people based on superficial things like, looks and etc. It's like, that's how you get fooled. Like Samson, I'm telling you, he thought Delilah was so beautiful that he wasn't paying attention to what she is. He was in his imagination. He wasn't in his clear reality, his pure awareness. He wasn't in mindfulness. And that's why the guru is so important. Because I'll tell you the story of this monk, and this prostitute had tried to trick him. The prostitute, he heard that he was a monk. He heard, people were very impressed with him because he was very devoted to his guru, and he was very beyond this world. And this prostitute had heard of that, so she wanted to test him. She wanted to find out if he was truly, detached and devoted to his guru. So she had come in a very seductive outfit. And I'm not saying that, it's in a sense that it's not. I'm not saying gurus can't have sex or they can't engage with women, but she knew this guy wanted to be a celibate. She knew, like, he did not want to have sex, so she wanted to mess with him. And there's a lot of stories of women trying to mess with sages. This is funny, like trying to tempt them and stuff like that. And this is a genderless video, of course. Like, I mean, it might not happen as often, but I'm sure sages try to tempt women. But women sages are a lot more protected than men are. Like, men are a lot more isolated. You'll notice, like, women sages, they usually have like protection around them, like bodyguards and stuff like that. So it's different. It happens less. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It happens less. But she was trying to tempt him, and basically he said to her, "Listen, I know what you're trying to do. It's not gonna work." And she kept trying. She started dancing, and he just ignored her. And then she said, "What are you reading?" And she said, "Oh, these are the notes I've written down of my guru's words." And she started reading it, and immediately she became devoted to the guru. And she shaved her head, and for the rest of her life, she started studying the words of the guru and seeking enlightenment. So this is the power of resisting reality and resisting reality's temptations. Is that we stay on our true life's purpose, and we truly fulfill the goals that we want to achieve, and we use that sexual creative energy for greatness. But when you're distracted by Maya, and you're distracted by what appears like what you want, then you won't see what you truly want, and you won't experience what God wants for you and wants to create for you. So be free and go beyond imagination to see how beautiful life truly is as it is.